Call Me a Witch, Spell 3, Invisible Pull. This series is a 3-part fanfiction written for LeoQueen082 on Tumblr as a Secret Santa gift for the Miraculous Ladybug Secret Santa Exchange of 2017. Please note that this fanfiction does contain spoilers for the second season of Miraculous Ladybug. I hope you enjoy, and Merry Christmas, Leo Queen. Despite his efforts, Adrien couldn't find a spell that aligned with his goal. He didn't want to take away agency, nor did he want some kind of passionate romance. He wanted to draw her towards him, to check up on her and laugh together as they used to, if only for a day. But what if he made one? What if he created a new spell? Would it work? He sat on his couch, mulling it over. What would he use? Bath salts? Flower petals? Candles? What combination would be best? A bay leaf for potency? There were so many questions circling his mind. Adrien hadn't made a spell before. Did he even know enough to do so? Surely he did. As long as it didn't need an incantation, he'd be fine. He picked up his phone and ordered some flowers for delivery. It couldn't hurt to try, after all. They were at his door within the hour, and Adrien found himself picking petals off of roses on the floor of his living room, arranging them into a circle. He placed a candle in the center, dusting a line of Himalayan pink salt around it before striking a match. As he watched it burn, he thought of her, over and over again. Ladybug. Bugaboo. His lady. Ladybug. After a few moments, he sighed and blew the candle out, standing up to go to bed. It wasn't until he began brushing his teeth that he heard a knock at the door. His heart skipped a beat at the sound, but he knew it couldn't possibly be. While the spell gave him a type of solace, there was no way such a makeshift procedure was on par with the locator spells he'd cast over the years. "Marinette!" he said, surprised when she walked in. He was shirtless, and somehow left the door unlocked. "Hey!" She immediately covered her eyes. "Sorry!" she blushed. "I just felt like I should check on you again." "You saw me yesterday." Adrien made his way over to the entranceway and grabbed a pullover to wear. "Yeah, I guess so." "You can look now." Marinette peeked through her fingers before lowering her hands. "What's the arts and crafts project on the floor?" She pointed at the candle and petals from earlier. "I cast a spell." She raised her eyebrows in surprise. "I didn't realize you practice."
"I learned about magic as a teenager."
"Yeah? What got you into that?"
"I started practicing once I gave up my miraculous. One form of magic to another, I suppose."
Adrien hadn't planned on saying anything to her, but the words tumbled out. It elevated a weight he didn't realize he had. "What are you saying?" she asked, suddenly tense.
"You were looking for Cat Noir, right?"
He gestured to himself.
"Ta-da! Post-superhero belly and all."
He didn't know what he expected, but it wasn't her tumbling to her knees. After the shock wafted through him, Adrien raced to her side, checking to see if she was okay. Marinette covered her face with her hands again, blocking him from reading her expression. She started shaking, causing a pit to form in his stomach.
"Marinette?"
Adrien whispered. She peeked at him through her fingers, and he could see the tears in her eyes and the crack of a smile on her face. "Yeah, you are, aren't you?" she said. He blinked, unsure of what she meant.
"You believe me?"
"Of course I do. I've had a hunch since we parted after that last fight, but you immediately left for London once the press came after your father." He didn't respond, choosing instead to pull her to his chest in an embrace. She knew who he was. Someone knew. That, and she'd known since their last fight. Their last fight? He'd never fought with Marinette as Cat Noir. Oh. The realization was less dramatic than Adrien thought it would be. He'd searched for the answer for over a decade, after all. But here she was, tucked under his arm. Ladybug. It was his turn to laugh. "What?" Marinette asked, looking up at him.
"Nothing, Bugaboo."
He closed his eyes and felt her shift, hearing the smile on her face. "Well?" Marinette said, breaking the silence. "Now what?"
"You're not going to let me enjoy this moment?"
What happens next?" He opened his eyes and turned to look at her, the two of them still sitting on the floor.
"I don't know. Maybe I could take you out for ice cream or something?"
She thought about it for a moment before nodding. "Sounds good, kitty." Adrien grinned at her nickname for him, a cat-like energy building throughout him that he hadn't felt for years.
"As you wish, my lady."
He stood up and offered her his hand, his heart light. The two of them would talk through the night over orange juice and pastries that hadn't sold that day from the Dupang Chang bakery, catching up on the other's life and refusing to fall asleep. Adrien would tear up while he looked at her on an hourly basis, and they would revert to holding the other, reminiscing about times before it all went down. And so, in the death of Cat Noir's secret identity, Adrien felt truly alive. It should be said that, 2 years later, he looked in the mirror, proud of the man he saw. It's not every day he wore a tux to get married in, after all. That, and the mirror showed his partner for life in the doorframe behind him. Mirrors were his friends now. Thank you so much for listening. Again, this was a Christmas present for the Miraculous Ladybug gift exchange for Leo Queen 082 on Tumblr, written specifically for her. Thank you so much for enjoying the story with us, and I hope you have an excellent day, wherever and whenever you're listening to this. I'll catch you next time.